Have you ever really tried to wrap your head around the law of karma? I mean, it's one of the most famous spiritual ideas out there, but it's also, let's be honest, one of the most confusing. If you've ever felt a little stumped by it, you are definitely not alone. So let's break it down together and see if we can clear things up.
This is the question, right? This gets right to the heart of the whole paradox. It's the thing that trips almost everyone up. You look around and you see corrupt people just living the high life, while some of the kindest people you know are really struggling. And it's so natural to just throw your hands up and think, wait a second, how can karma possibly be real? It seems to fly in the face of everything we think is fair. Well, here's the thing. The problem isn't that karma is broken. The problem, it turns out, is how our brains are wired. Our confusion comes from this huge mismatch between how we expect the world to work and how it actually operates.
I mean, think about it. From the time we're kids, we learn a really simple physical kind of logic. Basic Newtonian physics. For every action, there's an equal and, this is the key part, an immediate opposite reaction. You punch a wall, your hand hurts right away. There's no delay. We get conditioned to expect that instant feedback loop, where the cause and the effect are super obvious and right next to each other. And because of that conditioning, our minds just crave instant feedback. We want to see the result, and we want to see it now. This creates what you could almost call a bug in our perception, when we try to apply that simple A to B logic to a system that is just, well, it's infinitely more complex. And this right here, this comparison frames the entire problem perfectly. Our brains want karma to work like a vending machine. You put in your coin, your good deed, and boom, your reward pops out instantly. Simple, predictable, visible. But the reality of karma is much more like a farm. You plant a seed, that's your action, and then you wait. The process is slow, it's incredibly complex, and it depends on a ton of conditions you can't even see, like the soil, the weather, everything.
This farming analogy is so important because it really introduces the single biggest reason we get so confused, the element of time.
So the key concept we need to get our heads around is something called latency. It's a term that comes from systems thinking, but it perfectly describes what's going on here. Latency is just the time lag, the delay, between a cause and its effect. This delay is the hidden mechanism at the absolute heart of karma.
And just think about how massive that time lag can be. Even in modern science, it is incredibly difficult to prove that a correlation equals a causation, even when you're just looking at a few years of data. Now, imagine trying to track that connection not just over decades, but across entire lifetimes. An action, a seed planted in one life, might not bear its fruit until the next one, after a long and completely unseen gestation period.
So the crucial takeaway here is this. We cannot mistake this delay, this latency, for an absence of a connection. That bad person who seems to be prospering today, they might just be harvesting the fruits of good seeds planted a long, long time ago. Their current negative actions are planting new seeds for sure, but those just haven't ripened yet. The cause is real, even if the result hasn't shown up. But okay, the time delay isn't the only thing making this so tricky. The system itself is way more like a huge interconnected ecosystem than it is a simple straight line. So on top of that time lag, the result of any single action is influenced by a whole web of other conditions. Things like your intention behind the action, the specific environment you're in, and countless other ripples from other causes. But the biggest thing is, we're always working with incomplete information. We just can't see the causes from past lives that are actively shaping our reality right this very second. In fact, in Buddhist philosophy, the full, intricate workings of karma are described with a special word, achintya. It basically means unconjecturable or unthinkable. It's a concept so vast, so interconnected, that trying to map it all out with our regular, logical minds is, well, it's pretty much guaranteed to lead to confusion. It's said that only a fully enlightened being can actually perceive that entire web clearly. All of this complexity really points to a fundamental shift in how we should think about what karma actually is, and this might be the most important perspective shift of all. We tend to have this picture in our heads of karma being some kind of cosmic judge, with a big white beard, personally handing out rewards and punishments. But it's so much more accurate to see it as a natural law, just like gravity. Gravity doesn't care if you're a good person or a bad person. If you step off a cliff, you fall. It's totally impersonal, it's mechanical, and it just operates on fixed, consistent principles. So, what this really all boils down to is that karma isn't some moral enforcement system that was designed to police our behavior. It's a fundamental, impartial law of cause and effect, woven right into the fabric of the universe itself. It doesn't judge,
It just is.
And that brings us to one last really interesting question to leave you with. If this law wasn't designed for us as some kind of reward and punishment system, then maybe we've been asking the wrong question all along. Maybe the real question isn't, why is this happening to me? But instead, who am I meant to become while living within this undeniable law? Definitely something to think about.